So we're gonna do that tonight and hope for the best and see what happens with the 2 episodes. Also, everybody, hello again. It's Thursday. It's the watch party at the Dot Hack sign. As per usual, I do have the watch link posted. Um, Also, happy early Halloween, everybody. Lots of exciting
Mm.
things planned tomorrow. But for now, we're going to do the watch party. And also, welcome back, Jasmine. Glad that everything worked out. And we
Mhm.
will be back for the discussions.
Oh shit, I told you this was gonna happen. Ooh, nice transition. Yes. Come on. Hey, wait, did you guys see that? Hmm. Hmm. So it's getting a notification. Hey, it was right. Ah, he's losing a lot of memories right now. Technically speaking, she's alone, isn't she? Oh, look at that little detail. So yeah. Oh, What? He what? Yeah. Mm. What? Hmm. So they were upwards? Ooh. Oh, no. Oh, this is a reference. Oh, oh, uh-oh, uh-oh, uh-oh. This is a reference to games. Oh, shit. Ooh, gosh, this BP. She looks like her avatar. That's on purpose, though. Ooh, what does that say? BT, what are you doing?
Oh boy, a lot to take in for 2 episodes, but it moved the plot along at least for the most part, which is a
And we
good.
got some actual character development going this time around versus the usual stuff that you can be guilty of following through in a long series format. And like everybody knows this because even when you watch some of the greats out there that shows are considered greats, like Mad Men or like Breaking Bad or stuff from way back in the day, stuff that Michael Mann kind of directed episodes for. There's stuff that people do really get into, like stuff like hell, even like the long shows format that keep going on for no damn reason, like Grey's Anatomy and CIS and those other spinoffs, or American Horror Stories or Story in
Hmm.
general. There's so much content out there that you could enjoy, but a lot of them unfortunately fall into the trap of you're gonna be back to following the same set of formula, the same set of characters, and just repeating stuff we've heard dozens of times. Even Vinland Saga was guilty of this with one certain character where, yeah, one of her big personalities is that remember Thor, I will kill you. I'm like, we get it. You're gonna kill Thorfinn. Never did. Or did she? I can't remember the last part of those chapters. But even though there was like some great stuff for a while, every time she showed up, I'm like, oh great, she's gonna tell me she's gonna kill Thorfinn. Yep, there it goes. But this actually has character development going through. Let's talk about episode 15, since 14 was the slowly nudging, going to sleep, but then I wake up and like, okay, wait, no, this is important. 15 is actually the episode you needed for Tsukasa and kind of start the drift between Bear and BT and Mimiru, because when you think about Tsukasa throughout all these episodes, every single last one of them, who the hell is he? Plot twist. I'm gonna put it in the private chat. I'm gonna put it in the private chat because I already know who he is. You gotta wonder, how is he living like this? How in the world does he get along with everybody? Because this episode focused on 15 focused about the death of his character. Or, yeah, he dies, but then it comes back resurrected, unlike everybody else. But then Mimiru brings up the fact that, in general, that how does it feel to die, though, despite him being resurrected and everything? Is he still the same person, or is he different? Even them asking question that, oh yeah, you remember this? I finally found it, and he's like, what do you mean? What do you mean? But if you look at the room that he was in, remember this is a show that doesn't have a lot of movement or action, but we're focusing more on like the visual tone, the color palettes, how the characters' behavior change, and it was very much reminiscent of classic 80s and 90s anime with a black and white screen with some dark blues and some bright reds to dark bright reds, So he was a lot of pain, but also at the same time he's wondering more within that weird, more like different colors near the end because he's kind of losing himself. And in one of the songs that
Mm,
Yuki wrote, you can hear the lyrics that he's lost. So this is a character who's lost right now, has no idea just exactly where to place him. But if you look at the black and white stuff, oh no, there's something worse going on.
yeah, exactly. I mean, it's kind of like Miru said, where he was like, what happens when he dies? And I mean, he died in that moment, and it's almost like he was talking when he was talking to BT, and he
Hey,
was like saying how it's like you never see who that person is, but it's like a piece of you dies a little bit every time. And I feel like his consciousness being stuck in that frail space every time something happens to him when he's already kind of separated from his physical being, he's sort of dying a little bit time by time.
But what I also like about 15 a lot is that this is actually in 14. This is actually one of the times where he's truly is in pain. You see it in his the way his voice actor reacted to getting shot in the back and how much painful this was for kind of like for him to kind of for him going through all this and even how that oh by the way he's okay he's fine. The answer to that is not really. The real character isn't fully there yet, and he's like taking it in like well what just happened with him in that moment. And I kind of feel bad for Tsukasa because he's the only one that's like this. He's the only one like again in the whole series to feel actual cold, actual warmth, actual heat, despite everyone else being a video game character, just their avatars. He's the only one that's like, I'm the only one that's like this. How is this uh, possible? So that is strange to figure out. But when again you look at the intro, everyone else logs in, so the world is slowly eating at him in that sense of way. So that's what I like about like these at that episode. This is kind of getting into that case, but also at the same time, the drift is coming apart because even BT says you're too worried about him. He's like an NPC that somehow has feelings, or is this character that we can actually relate to, even though it shouldn't be possible.
Well, what is ironic about that is also that BT, at the same time, she's sort of reprimanding them for taking Tsukasa and his situation too seriously and caring about him too much, but at the same time, you could tell that she is actually ironically wanting that in for herself because you could tell she wants to be loved in the same way that even though Tsukasa is specifically like technically an NPC to her, he's also being loved and cared for like a human being in the same sense that she sort of wants to be also like she's drifting from one person to the next in that episode, and she's especially wants to be loved by Krim in this way that a real person loves someone, but obviously it's not reciprocated, and you could see kind of the hurt there. So that's character development for her, but at the same time, by the time the episode ends, you could see that some kind of turmoil went down in her real life that made her eventually drift to the game world, and she was just like, I think I'm gonna be BT just a little longer, as in to kind of embrace that lighthearted side that, it doesn't always have to be doom and gloom. You can allow yourself to kind of live in this reality and take this reality in.
Hence why BT kind of like got at both Mimaru and Bear, mostly because Bear is living the real world in the game versus the actual real world that's out there in reality. As BT said, this is the world that people get to live in. You actually even see this with Lady Subaru actually of the Knights, because when Subaru asks her that, like, I need to know about Tsukasa, that you, Bear, and Mimaru are the and Krim are the only friends that he has, so I need you to figure things out. I'm not asking as Lady Subaru, I'm asking you as Lady Subaru, the player. And I love how natural the dialogue is, how great it was for BT's actress. Her name is Donna Rollins. I cannot pronounce this, so I'll call her Donna Arm. You probably have heard her because she's done like almost every single dot hack stuff, from mutation, sign, outbreak, quarantine, unison. So she's pretty much done them all, except for like the GU stuff. But she's also been stuff in some other stuff in the past. But she has not done a whole lot. So that is interesting. And going to the stuff for the English side of hand, if you haven't figured out by now, you two, who the hell is Mimiru for English? Yes, that is Amanda Wing Lee. So yes, good old
Mm.
Amanda. So good old persona for her from Yukiko, and the original actress for Neon Genesis Evangelion for Ray. So again, when they do stuff like this, I don't care at all. They were so good back in the day. What happened? And even
Mhm.
Subaru is taken back by everything and all the harsh words, and yet good old Silver Knight over there, which, again, if neither of you have figured out who the hell Silver Knight is, well, I kind of got it right here for one of the Crimson Knights, at least for what I can find out here. It is Douglas or Doug Ray over here. You know, from Hard Target, from is Frick. He's also in
Oh.
the World of Warcraft stuff. From he's like in Legion. He's been in some voices for here and there. One of the Saints Row guys. He's been in Dynasty Warrior 8. Spec Ops Alive for additional voices. What else? Oh, Resident Evil 5 as Dan Deechant. He was in Halo Wars. Oh, Phoenix one like that. Castlevania Judgment. He was Death in that one. Let's see here. EverQuest 2 as Mardal King in the Cloak Dumpire. Okay, what else we got in here? He's in one of the Wildsborne games, and so he's got a good track record of stuff. So then he's also Bear as well. So it's like, okay, who's that? Now you're gonna ask. Now everyone's gonna be asking me, who the hell is Tsukasa? I don't know if you're all ready for this, but if that voice has not been familiar for all of you, I gotta say you're not listening to your good old Power Rangers, because that's good old Brianna Brazzi, aka Circuit from Power Rangers
Ooh.
Time Force.
I
So if
thought the
you
voice was familiar.
that
I'm like,
is Circuit.
where did I hear this voice before? Oh boy, a lot of A-list people in anime.
She also
I
has been one of
forget
the
how many.
Uemufa games. For Dawn of Dreams, Lord of the Rings, Battle for Middle Earth. Zach Bell. Ooh, there you go. Zach Bell is Kiddo. IPX Immortal Grand Prix is Johnny Lipkin. Uh, what else we got in here? Xenogears Episode 2. So, again, nice. Again, she came back for a lot of the other stuff uh, for Dot Hack, for Outbreak and Your Sims, for all the stuff. So, and on and so forth. So, these are people who have some great talents under their belt. Who else do I have in here for Sora? It's actually by a gentleman by the name of David Winterberg. So
Oh, uh,
Advent Children uh, for Final Fantasy Cowboy Bebop the movie, Knock on Heaven's Door. There you go. Saito from Ghost in the Shells 2045. Um, Iruka 7 High Evolution as was. So what else we have here? What else we have here? Good thing IMDb. Oh, here we go. Kakashi Hatate. So Kakashi.
that's what I thought.
I mean, so I'm like, is that voice? Is I'm like, and
Uh,
Tiger Bunny and a few others. So that's why I'm like, so Sora was a little different, but it's like, oh yeah, it's Dave. Like you hear a little bit of Kakashi, but it's a younger Dave. So I kind of like that a little bit. So I do like these A-listers in here because despite the fact you might hate a couple, here's the thing: Dot Hack is still grounded versus SAO. SAO is more the power fantasy than some of the other few isekais out there. But there are some of them out there that still feel grounded, and I do like the fact that this kind of be one of the originators. They knew to keep the series grounded in reality. And that's what I like about 16 so much, because it's BT calling out a few people for being hypocrites with Tsukasa and a few others, and how Lady Subaru was like, I'm asking you as just a character, and yet you're hesitant. Those words she used kind of struck a nerve. Even the Silver Knight comes in and stops, like, don't be worried about that. She's just jealous of you. I don't think she is that jealous. She kind of had to say the truth to Subaru at one point or later. And I do like the fact that you kind of get that. Just stop and think for a moment. Because those words struck a chord, and we probably have been there at some point where somebody finally had to say the truth. Like Anime Night over here does tend to say that I tend to be blunt, but honest. And he's gonna nod his head like, Joker is blunt, but part of that is sadly my coworkers rubbing off me, and I kind of got that from them. So it's like, yeah, I can see where I got that from nowadays.
Yep.
uh,
Uh, go ahead,
honestly,
Jesse.
that's a good. I say honestly, that's a good trait to have because there isn't much honesty in the world. So
Yep.
But I think that's
yeah.
also what sometimes, for BT for this episode, she need to have her honesty, because I think the why that 16 works so well, it is a BT centric focus episode. Because even she wants to stay in the world, but you keep hearing this word come around. I'm not his wife. I'm not his partner, partner. I'll explore things outside with Krim in the outside world. And he apologized for saying that, I'm sorry if you ever felt that way, but I never meant to go that far. So I'm like, is BT looking for more of a, not a sexual relationship, but just a relationship in general outside of the game? Like Jasmine said, something must have happened out there. And to me, that doesn't look like, I don't read Japanese, so if I had to guess what was in the trash, either looked like, it did not look like divorce papers, or it looked like, was it an eviction notice? It looked like something that she was very disappointed in. And why she
Yeah.
went back to the game and said, I'll be BT a bit longer. Even Krem is voiced by Lex Lang, actually. So I'm like, who's like?
Mm-hmm.
If you're watching Jujutsu Kaisen, he's in that one.
Yeah, I love his character in that.
And personally I did get to meet him. He was really nice. He was a really nice voice actor, well worth the time and everything. Loved him as Cortex. It's cool to see him voice other characters on the banner that he had behind him. The Rurouni Kenshin one really surprised me.
But
But
I
in
think the reason why.
essence,
Go ahead.
episode 16 really brought out major perspective from BT, and I'm glad that we have episodes that focus on individual characters. We just don't know it. We just don't realize it until towards the end. It's like, oh, that was a BT episode. That was really good. And it's from her perspective. Now that we had a chance to get things from her perspective and seeing her real world self, that was a nice surprise.
I was
That
not
was
surprised. I was like, hey, it looks like BT. I'm like, it does look like her. And it's like, what are you doing? But also, what I think it fits at the end is that for all this talk about Tsukasa, she slightly gets saved by him. Just like they're like, because I'm like, this is a reference to the games. The players she helped out are player killers. They will disguise themselves as newbies and say like, hey, I'm lost, I can't get over there. Like me and Amy and I know that because that's what happens in Dot Hack right away. In GU, so like you fall for the oldest trick in the book, getting tricked by new players not knowing what to do. They take the loot, but then it almost does look like she's about to die or just wants to give up. Like, I hate this trick. And I like that little look, just like, oh, there he is. Are you ready to die? They turn around and they're like, oh shit, it's him. It's Tsukasa. Run! Get the friend because he's gonna bring out the guardian. I'm like,
yeah.
so that rumor hasn't gone away quite yet.
Yeah, it's cool that we get to see like some of those seeds woven in to what will be a very rampant thing in the coming Dot Hack series, player killing and everything. It's actually a nice touch that we're slowly seeing like the roots of player killing in the world of Dot Hack. And oh, that's sweet of Jeremiah. Look at that.
Hey, thanks, man.
Hey,
Yeah,
That's
like
actually
you see a
sweet of you.
lot of stuff. Like if you thought the Silver Knights are one thing, again, look at GU for Dot Hack, and there's that whole organization with the GU crew over there, the ones that went out for like, yeah, we know something's wrong with the world, so we need to investigate this before this becomes a major crisis. That started with the Silver Knights, and now it's with these guys over here. I haven't played the infection storyline, so I have no idea what happens over there. Phoenix will tell us. Just because Dark Cyberkinetic and Bandai, just give me a new Dot Hack team, please. Just give me a new one, a rematch with the old ones, please. I would love to play House card, please. Like, please, God, please. That's all I want these days. But at the same time, it's the smaller stuff that really builds in the world. Even BT asked the question, why does everybody come to the world? And she kind of says that it is to escape. What do we see at the end of 16? Escaping to the world. And instead of being dark and gloomy, I love the final shot of her looking up. You see like this single bird up there. So I'm like, is that supposed to be symbolism of her being free now from something? Or eventually she will be free? But that ray of sunlight coming in was a nice little touch, actually. I'm like, I like stuff like that. But going back to her and Tsukasa, I actually like because this is generally the first time, if I can recall correctly, that these two are even alone together and they both made each other laugh by saying the exact same thing at the exact same time. And even her question, like, how does it feel to die? And I kind of liked his honesty in that answer. I think she got what she was looking for, but also a more genuine air quote friend that Subaru would say, because for once they connected, so she had some type of connection now. So I'm hoping they kind of play off each other a little bit more in the future to whatever this final confrontation will be in the later half of this series.
And it's really interesting that she ended up confiding in him about the secret of her name, which I thought was very funny, a very funny explanation. But it just shows the development there in their relationship that she actually told him why she picked that name. And I'm sure that's not something that everyone knows. Like Bear is probably the only other one, and she clearly has a personal connection with him, seeing as she knows what he does in real life and everything. So that is definitely what I would say is evolution in their relationship.
Basically that, and it's quite funny how how we all got our usernames and everything in the online world. It makes you think, and it's actually a lot of fun knowing like the backstory of each game, and it's quite fun to learn about it, and it does give some more lore to the character as well. It's a nice
Because
touch and everything.
yes, because
Go
there's
ahead.
a story there with everyone's usernames. It's kind of a small piece to a large piece, so it's a lot of times of a person's self, and the why is very important. So it appears to be little, but it's not so little.
Exactly that. Everybody knows why I chose, well, my name and everything. Everybody knows that. And it's become a part of me, even though I am the same person, whether it's under my channel name and everything, still me. And I answer regardless. I answer regardless whether by my real name or anime night, I still answer. Oh, hello, Kelly. But I loved episode 15 and 16 though, because it really improved the story. It moved it along subtly, and we got to learn about more of the characters and everything, and see some character growth within 2 episodes. That is how you do it. And I wish the more modern anime would do that. Like the more modern of the anime, because we all love filler episodes and everything from time to time, if done correctly. But at the same token, it's like, where does the character development begin and where does it escalate?
Part of that, they fall into the trap of the norms. Like again, in a harem anime, you're never going to gain anything brand new if they go to a beach episode. That is just pure fan service and eye candy for a lot of people, and it's just the usual uh, done a dozen times over. Who cares? Get to the real meat and bones. Yes, the first girl he ever is going to meet is going to be the one he falls in love with, so there's no need to have the harem other than just filling up all the tropes and cliches. There's a point where we say there's a convention and just cliches. A lot of it nowadays is just cliches. Convention is just we just have it for a reason. Oh, someone goes missing, convention. But a cliche is multiple people go missing, the cops are too lazy to find them, yada yada yada. Take the example that it was the Netflix summer show that everyone was watching. Uh, Shotgun. Hold on. Is that the name? Hold on a second, because that the Hunting Wives. That is a bland show. But did I watch all the
Oh,
episodes? Yes. Why did I watch it? My coworkers told me about it because I heard the conversation. I heard nudity and sex. What's going on here? Well, it's called The Hunting Wives. So I'm like, okay, what's it about? I'm like, well, it's all this stuff and here and here. And like I said, the first few episodes, there's not safe for work content that we can't quite talk about here. but there was both nudity and sex and some shotguns. So I'm like, you had me at nudity and shotguns. Let's go.
You would have me at that too.
But the actual show was okay. I get this has been here done a million times before. Of convention, you move to a new town that no one knows about, and for work. Okay, convention. Cliche, you meet the people that you're going to hang around with, despite you not liking anybody, and they have to take you along because the leader of the group likes you. Cliche. Also, cliche, there's now a murder mystery. Cliche. And that's the entire show. No offense. But the reason why it was successful, it came out the right time, it did. And a lot of people liked it. And unlike the books where the book just ended, we're getting a season two, so yay, congratulations, folks. We've learned nothing. And yes, I'm part of that problem too. Even my own mother was watching it, and I had to walk in. I was like about to say goodnight, mom. But then I hear an F bomb drop. I'm like, wait a second, I can do this to her now. I'm like, mother, what are you watching? She freaks out, is looking at me, and I'm like, watch something else. I'm like, yeah, yeah. Now how does it feel now? Because the only time that you said that to me downstairs when Netflix still had Daredevil in the very first season. Still watching it, still a great show. This is when young Kingpin was hitting his dad with the knife by saying, keep hitting him, keep hitting him. You know the scene I'm talking about. Keep hitting him, keep hitting him. I was watching that scene. I was like, dude, this is cool. Mom's like, is this just all killing? Watch something else. I'm like, it's Marvel. You don't believe me. So now, after all these years, I got to do it to her. I'm like, why don't you watch something else? I'm like, yeah, how does it feel now? She's like, what are you, like, you're watching The Hunting Wives, right? Yep. And that was like episode 4 when that happened. She's like, well, I'm on episode 4 right now, waiting for something to happen. I'm like, oh, don't worry. Something will happen. Just wish it went faster. Also, you want it's also cliche? Somebody's banging a wife where they're not supposed to be, so, yep, that was a cliche. I'm like, great. So this is what she meant by all the nudity. Great. 20-something-year-olds, so great.
Hey, Rick, same
But
McTown.
in Midtown. But at the same time, when they're used correctly, we call them conventions. And when they're not used correctly, we just call them cliche and trope. Like, for example, no one's going to care if the big jock dies off. Like, no one's going to care because it's like, oh, good, you're dead. Move on. Or people will care if something will happen to somebody if it comes out of left field and we go, oh, that's a nice surprise. Like, E.T. was a nice surprise because she felt like more of that character who was grounded in reality and that she actually knew how the world works and operates. She was kind of going along with everybody. Hell, she even tells freaking Sora over here that you only want information if I have. If I don't have it, you're going to be upset about something. And it looked like she was upset. And also, I noticed within episode 16 or 15, I remember, she's kind of alone in one of the rooms in the world. The episode ends with her being in a room alone by herself. Clever foreshadowing. Good use of it too, actually. But also, this is the first time we've seen her, so we kind of know what Tsukasa looks like. We kind of know what BT looks like. I don't think we have yet to see Bear yet to Sora to everybody else. But also, fun fact for Sora, we already know what he is like. He's a kid playing the game with adults.
Yeah.
How exactly do you know he's a kid?
Look, if you go back to the earlier episodes we watched, you, especially during the one with where
Hey, Betty. What's up, buddy?
okay, hold on a second.
Well, did you see him hopping, like going, yay, yay, yay? That should tell you more than enough.
where he rooted for Tsukasa
Yippee!
all along, and everybody kept waiting with her. When Sora shows up, he's like, "All right, I'll wait with you for a while," but then after a while, he's like, "All right, I gotta log off right now. My mother's asking for me. Zev, I can't," and he's like, "I can't stay up this late." Hint, hint. He's a kid playing the game, and okay, I guess I hold it long enough. Here's one hint for Jasmine for dot hack GU. When Sora's a kid, he actually logs off for a while for dot hack when the world originally goes off for a while. But then years later, when it comes back, one of his school friends is like, "Hey, the world is back with World R2. Why don't you play the game again?" Like they kind of get on that topic, and he's like, "The world's back." So he logs in again and creates a new avatar. And this new avatar is the main protagonist of the Dot Hack GU lineup of games. So technically speaking, Sora went from a side character to the main protagonist in avatar form at
Oh
least.
wow, that's
So yeah,
interesting.
so look out for that later where I'm gonna start grinning in the series going, "Ooh, I know what's gonna happen." So he got an upgrade.
I'm sure you think so.
I'm not gonna say anything else after that.
Boing.
He does not jump in GU, so that's a disappointment. So darn it. But if you look how Sora
But
acts,
all in
it's
all,
very
though,
childlike, very childish compared to everybody else. So that's why he's kind of annoying, but he's also kind of cool at the same time. And that drop of like, "Oh yeah, I gotta log off. I can't stay late after this hour." It's like, he's just a kid, and they don't even know it yet.
it's going to be interesting to see what happens later on in the series. And we're
Because they are
actually
getting something
halfway
big
through.
with, because you don't say something that to the leader of the Silver Knights, and the Silver Knights getting mad for no reason. Not to mention, we still have yet to figure out where exactly the key of the Twilight is. So it went from learning about Tsukasa to the key of the Twilight to these two things are going to be interconnected one way or another. And keep an eye out on the little cat creature because, oh, he's not happy right now. I'm sure he's going to show up later. And not to mention, we're hearing more of the voice. So we're hearing more of the AI voice now with Tsukasa. So things are going to heat up in the next few episodes because we're getting closer and closer to the end of the series. So I'd suspect a lot more now are going to be plot progression episodes.
And and also that creepy scene with the girl on the bed when she turns the eyes were purple. That was scary.
That was
And it's
frightening. I
like,
was like, okay, something's. One of that was just his mind playing tricks on him to the AI taking over because he's slowly losing it. Not to mention, even Mimir suggested that we should meet the real world at this place. He's like, what's that? So he's not fully
it goes
there yet.
that's the creepy part in the whole thing because we have no idea exactly when Tsukasa became trapped in the world yet. And I say yet, but it goes to show how long it's been and how really sheltered Tsukasa was. Because I highly doubt, given all the flashbacks and everything, we have an understanding that Tsukasa did have an abusive father and everything, but the extent of it is unknown. So, but there's hints to it though,
Mhm.
like what's the shopping mall you keep telling me about and everything? It goes to show how much has passed since then. That'd be like Joker telling me, "Hey, Anime Night, have you ever been to a convention before?" What's a convention? It's exactly that. But that's just an example. I know what a convention
Again, keep
is.
an eye out for those real world black and white sequence, which I love so much. It's very much an artistic
We
choice.
need that. That
It
needs
works
to come
so
back.
well.
That aesthetic needs to come back in modern anime. You could still do it. You could still do it in modern anime. You
Part of
still
that is like
can.
the filter they do it, but there's really that style to it. Like, if you want to do a great example, take a look what Dot Hack's worlds look like, and then compare it to go back to the oldest stuff like Digimon. You'll never ever get these
Mhm.
beautiful hand drawn, paintings. Really, they look like paintings. Really, concept art. I know that stuff is overused a lot, but they just look so well good compared to the modern Digimon anime or even stuff like Pokemon used to do with all the hands drawn stuff before things became too much more. It's the same setting I've seen dozens of times and just looks so bland and generic. So sorry, but there's a style to the 80s and 90s into the early 2000s feels before things went too samey. Like every time I see a fantasy show or a dark fantasy, I'm like, let me guess, or an isekai. It's gonna be a town. There's gonna be a circle. There's gonna be a freaking wall. Like every freaking time. I'm so sick of that setting. Just do something different, please,
That's
please.
why.
I
That's why
beg
I was.
you.
That's why I was watching. That's why I was watching Ruri Rocks and everything because it was different to what I'm used to, but for the better. It is a slice of life, but it's done in a very beautiful way. Yes, there I will admit there is some fan service, but it's not like up in your face. It only happens throughout most scenes and in some episodes, especially the last episode, but it does not overstay its welcome. But everything else about that anime, I did mean what I said in my review of it. But I do recommend it too. It is a fun one. And I'm also enjoying May I Have This Last Request? Um, It's a fun episode. Don't worry, nobody's reincarnated or anything. It actually takes place in a different setting,
I
from
mean,
a
this is
royal
why
standpoint.
I also did finish Mexico Spec Ops Asuka season one. They do the manga fairly well. There's some stuff I wish they didn't push too soon because some of the stuff does come later. Like some of the festival stuff comes later. Some of the character reveals comes a little bit later down the line. But they do it enough where I say it adapts it well enough. They add some new stuff in that wasn't quite there beforehand, which is completely fine. Again, it's a magical girl show. What's it different? They use guns and it's a little more psychological, so a little bit of Madoka Magica, a little bit some of the other transformation stuff you've seen here before there, and again a little more psychological. But this time they work with the military and government, so that's the reason that it stands out just a little bit more longer. And I do like it. The manga, I mean, it's nothing too special, but it was still a fun ride, and I have all the manga now, so I'm still reading that so I can finish how it ends. But it's something that I'm like, slightly different. Still like it. Wish we got a season two, but I don't think we're ever going to get it, sadly.
Also, speaking of which, Joker, I can't wait to see your face when I release uh, the next watch party poll. I can't wait to see your reaction.
Oh, good lord. But anyway, closing
That's all
thoughts,
I'm
not
going
going to
to
be too
say.
active, everybody.
It-
Mhm.
yes,
Anyway, closing thoughts. We'll start with you
go
two.
ahead, Joker.
Nope, we'll start with you two.
Uh,
Overall, episode 15 and 16 really impressed me because we had that chaos of episodes 12 through 14. We had the chaotic event going through and getting to meet the guy who built the world. They just don't know it yet, but we, the audience, do. And well,
mhm.
for returning viewers like me and Joker and everybody, we know it. But it's good to, but it's so cool to to experience it again after all these years. But for a new viewer, it's actually a wonder in their mind of watching it for the first time. Episode 15 and 16 really drive home the character development of all the characters, and we finally get an episode dedicated to BT from her perspectives what she goes through on the daily with and how she interacts with certain characters, and she does make some very valid points. It may come off as cruel and blunt and everything, but she is absolutely right in the manner of speaking, because her going off on Subaru does have a point to that. There is a point to that, and it's like, well, are you going to be the same person as you were when you were Lady Subaru? Why should I believe this change? That's the question right there. Is why should I believe this? But time will tell what Subaru does. But all in all, 15 and 16, I say it's a rock solid performance. I cannot wait for episode 17 and onward. I end my my opinion.
Yeah, and I mean, I think these episodes definitely lended into a lot of thought provoking stuff. Uh, as far as the whole key of the Twilight thing goes, I think it is very interesting how it's most likely the key of the Twilight is most likely the so-called key, uh, pun intended, to this key to immersion most likely for all of the players. And I think his quote unquote daughter is the start of all of that, as we can kind of see with these players and their so-called guardians and all of the so-called blending that's starting with Tsukasa. I think this is kind of the beginning of all of that, and this this guy who invented the world is so-called the one who gave them the ability to kind of dive into this world. And also, I did just want to point out right before we close out that yes, I did do some pondering on the Silver Knight, because I mean, this guy is totally immersed himself into this world. Like, he's obsessive to the point of obsession when it comes to this whole Crimson Knight thing. And I do wonder if that is in some way a result of him being hit with that guardian and him so-called losing his memory, uh, in theory. So that could be what he's going through right now. He could be going through his own kind of challenges in the same way Subasa kind of was going through his, where he couldn't tell fiction from reality. So those are just some of my thoughts on that. But yeah, overall, these episodes were very, very interesting and powerful, and definitely they're definitely some thought provoking stuff, in my opinion.
No, that's an interesting theory that even I didn't think about that. Something happened very early on in the series is affecting him going forward. Then again, he could just be the guy, just be playing the RPG very well and not realizing what's going on. Because you got to remember, the Silver Knights, they kind of walk around, they protect the Subaru and go throughout the entire game, creating order and whatnot. But at the same time, these episodes really get you to think about the characters, because you went through the big revelation in 14, that stuff that they were looking for in our favorite Delta Holy Ground. I can't say the full name. In the Holy Ground Church, that the anime night, we're like, we know this spot, we know this location, and to find out there was like more behind that, going through the Chaos Gate again, but doing the different area codes, and it's like, oh, there's this, but then there's consequences. Even BT was saying, don't go through that door, or you don't want to know what's behind it. But then when everybody does, it goes to the whole, what is he saying? What does he mean? And then even Tsukasa started acting weird. And I love that going through that door, and in the end, there's a cause and effect, there's aftermath. We've seen these characters change both for the better and for the worse, meaning that getting the Twilight Key is going to be a challenge going forward. But now there's that other step of what's going to happen to Tsukasa if things really go bad. Even Phoenix once stated that there will be a point in one of these episodes where they go like, "Oh, your fingers are coming off," and yet they don't show it, or like, show the finger coming off. It looks so cool when you talk about the stuff, and yet they won't show it due to the limited anime budget or just the idea of somebody's hands coming off. I'm like, dude, this is very psychological, very mental for that. But I like the fact that the change was both the positive and the slightly negative at the same time because these are not exactly the same characters, like we said. Even how we said with Noir, with Miriam and Noir, these are not the same characters. These characters in episode one would not be making the same decisions nowadays. Heck, I think even Miriam might have left BT and Bear had she heard BT say exactly to her in episode one. She would have said, "Screw this, I'm out of here." But I'm kind of glad they resolved that and gave us the answers that we're looking for. Because sometimes it's okay to escape. I think that's what these episodes were mentioned to say that it's okay to escape. You don't have to face that the trauma alone that Tsukasa is going through. You have a supportive group with you, even for BT. It's okay. It's not okay to lie to yourself because there's a thing that she's looking for. Partner, partner, partner. Even Prem's like, I apologize, you were looking for that. But it's okay to want something later in life. Maybe she didn't get it now, but it's okay to play with some online friends and make these friends your family. So I'm glad she kept her in game family. And then maybe one day they'll all meet up together and be better friends in real life. In fact, there's even a sad story about a World of Warcraft player. There's a documentary on Netflix about him playing the game constantly, him being in a wheelchair and everything, being disabled.
Mm.
Um, he's not quite like the burden to his family, but the one thing that his parents said that you need to make friends, get off the game, you know. But sadly, when he passed away and showed his parents how to log into his account and everything, his parents left a message saying that our son has passed away. We thought he would want you to know that he's passed away. And they had hundreds of messages from the guild, and every one of them said that your son was a wonderful person, was a great friend. He even had an actual girlfriend for one of the guild members, a very pretty lady, very wonderful lady. And when they had the funeral, some of those guild members even showed up in real life to the funeral to say goodbye to a fellow member. Even a psychiatrist worker, a female psychiatrist, showed up to the funeral as well. I would like to say this: that is the power of the gaming of video games and the power of the gaming community because you have no idea who these people are behind the screen, and yet if you're that type of person to have people still message your parents saying that your son was wonderful despite disability, despite you not knowing the secret life he was playing in the game. This is what true friendship is like in the virtual world. Because I would be sad one day if that was my friend, my buddy dying, and I would say the exact same thing to his parents. Your son was wonderful, and we appreciate the time we spent with him.
And that is the power of fiction and uh, being a part of a community because even though it's fictional or it's just
Feels real.
gaming and all that, it's still a part of the real world. Or if you connect to others, you can reach the real world, as so many of our favorite authors and writers and whatnot reach out to all of their fans. It's the same thing when you interact with people through entertainment. It can be just as real as being out there and about in the real world. And for so many of us, it's what keeps us grounded. It's what keeps us coming back. It's what keeps us alive. We are alive through our art and through the people that love are the people that love the things that we also love. It's a beautiful thing.
I agree. I agree with that. It is amazing what we can do through art, music, content creation, and everything in between, and how it stands the test of time. I mean, this anime is still. I'm glad this anime is still talked about to this day, and it deserves to be at the table among the greats. But all in all, we will see what happens in the coming episodes. I cannot wait for episode I can't wait for episodes 17 through 25 as we get closer to the conclusion of this anime and more. But anyway, guys, we are going to get out of here. Check out everybody's content. Thank you to Jeremiah, Batty, Commander, MGTOW, Jasmine, Silent Joker, Riggs, and Jeremiah and Sherry for coming on by. Take care. Oh, and California Forward. Take care, everybody. We'll talk again soon. Tomorrow night is the Outlast Trials. Saturday is going to be the Schedule One streams, so tune in for those. I am out of here, guys. Happy early Halloween, and I hope you guys have a fantastic one
Yes.
tomorrow. Eat
Happy
the fu-
Halloween.
eat all the fucking candy in the world, please.
Mhm.
Guys.